In the White Mountains of California, at an elevation of over 10,000 feet, stands the ancient bristlecone pine forest, the oldest living trees on planet Earth. Dignified elders of the wild, these legendary figures defy death, with the oldest being dated at over 5,000 years old. Here, the bristlecones prosper where almost nothing else can survive. Growing in isolated groves on outcrops of dolomite, in cold temperatures and high elevation, with short growing seasons and exposure to snow, ice, and wind, the bristlecone pine has very little competition from other species. The extreme conditions that the bristlecones call home make no place for many of the creatures that inhabit most forests. These biological wonders are resistant to insect and fungus invasion and other potential pests. And the harsh environment provides little chance of survival for other plant life. The inhospitable conditions are key to the bristlecone's longevity. They have learned to slow down their aging, to be sculpted by the elements into exquisitely beautiful shapes and forms. Sentinels of magnificence. Each of these glorious spectacles has its own identity, its own character, and its own story to tell. With each its own knots, gnarls, twists, and turns, streaked with colors of amber, hazel, chestnut, and mahogany, all radiating life in the illumination of the sun. The sunlight acts as a highlighter to the shimmering brilliance of the personality of these trees, and makes their needle-covered branches glisten. The fragrance of the resin of the bristled cones of their namesake infuses the thin, clear air as these forebears of wisdom depict the chronicles of centuries past. There is an almost otherworldly feeling here. Hours from the nearest city, in the eerie silence of the wilderness, with the impression of a lunar landscape, and with the peaks of the Sierra Nevada to the west, the grove overlooks Death Valley. It's just you and these mystical patriarchs of prehistory, and it feels like it. Struck with humility, standing in the company of these ancient living oracles, you can feel their presence, inspire your emotions, capture your attention, and silence your thoughts. Their majesty is sensed with overwhelming reverence, and their glory announced like a wordless roar. Enlightened by their primordial perspective, one grapples with the ineffability of their age and the mystery of their wisdom. The oldest living non-clonal organism in the world, the elder bristlecone pine, has been alive for the entirety of recorded human history. Older than anything alive that you've ever seen, smelled, heard, or touched. As a species, us humans have gone from the jungles to the prairies, from nomadic tribes to agricultural and industrial civilizations. From the evolution of human language and culture to the construction of Stonehenge and the Great Pyramids, every empire, state, country, and kingdom of man has risen and fallen under their oversight. The longest human lifespan is recorded as a thin ring among thousands, beneath the bark of the prophets of the White Mountains. We are a species who covet immortality and fear death, and they are as skilled at survival as anything that has ever existed. Every groundbreaking idea and all of the greatest accomplishments of humanity have all taken place in their custody. Every hope, every dream, every milestone, every birth and every death for all of recorded human history has come and gone within the lifespan of one of these perennial evergreens. Even when one of these relics of antiquity dies, they decline to leave the forest, enduring as elegant ghosts for thousands of more years. Even in death, they refuse to go away. Resistant to rot, instead the exposed wood erodes slowly like stone, abiding season after season as pillars of timelessness, impacting human beings for generation after generation. While we struggle to put into words the power of this experience, I'm struck by the realization that a day in their presence is a life-changing event of priceless importance to me. But to them, we are as dust in the wind.